The wind whispered through the tall pine woods of Ember Valley, carrying with it more than just the scent of cedar and wild sage. There was something else that night, something tangled in pain and secrets. Nora Blake, a 26-year-old wildlife rehabber with a quiet life and a heart too big for the town of Dustwood, wasn't looking for trouble. She had a life of tending to owls with broken wings and foxes caught in fences, but what she found lying near the creek that evening would unravel everything she thought she knew about kindness and power. It started like any other evening, clouds turning rose pink as the sun lowered. Nora was returning from checking a den of orphaned raccoons when she heard it, a low groan like gravel shifting underfoot. She paused. Another sound, closer now, an unmistakable rasp of pain. Her eyes scanned the thicket, and then she saw him, slumped against the roots of a giant pine, face pale, shirt soaked in blood, and one arm clutched across his abdomen. He looked like he'd been thrown into time itself. Worn boots, a battered Stetson hat, and a duster coat half covered in dirt. "Hey, are you hurt?" she called, rushing to him. The man lifted his head slightly. His eyes, steel grey and haunted, met hers. "Don't call anyone." "What? You need a hospital?" No hospitals, just help me get somewhere safe." She hesitated, fear creeping in, but something in his voice, something raw and vulnerable, overrode her instinct to run. With a strength born of adrenaline and compassion, she loaded him into the back of her old truck and drove him to her cabin deep in the woods. He passed out on her couch. She cleaned his wound, a deep gash across his ribs, likely a knife, and stitched him up as best she could. He barely stirred. Days passed. He remained unconscious, and when he finally woke, he didn't say much, not even his name. So she gave him one. Ash. Because he reminded her of burnt things that hadn't quite gone cold. Under the lining of his coat, she finds an old silver coin engraved with the name Barrowfield. She doesn't recognize it, but the name will matter. Ash recovered slowly. He didn't talk about how he got hurt. Nora didn't push. They lived in a quiet rhythm, her feeding owls and raccoons, him chopping firewood when he had the strength. But there were moments, flickers in his gaze, like shadows of another life. He'd look at the trees like he was counting them, or trace the shape of the hills beyond the horizon, like he knew what lay beyond. One morning, a truck rolled up her drive. An unfamiliar man stepped out, heavy boots crunching on gravel. "Looking for someone," he said. "Tall guy, wears a hat, got a busted side. Heard he might be up this way." Nora kept her face blank. "Haven't seen anyone like that." The man leaned forward, eyes sharp. "If you do, you'd best let him know he's not as far from his past as he thinks." That night, Ash didn't sleep. She confronted him. "Who are you?" He finally told her part of the truth. "Let's just say, I once trusted the wrong people. One of them left me for dead." "Why would anyone do that to you? I own something they want, but it's not for sale." The next day, Nora finds a bullet casing in her mailbox. Curious, Nora starts digging. She learns that Barrowfield isn't a coin, it's a family name, a name with old money and old land. Over half the county once belonged to a Jeremiah Barrowfield, who vanished years ago. There are rumours that he didn't die, that he went into hiding after a betrayal. The silver coin she found matches the Barrowfield crest. Ash is Jeremiah Barrowfield. When she confronts him, he doesn't deny it. "I built this land up from nothing. My grandfather started it. My father nearly lost it. And I made it worth fighting, of it." Ash barely escaped with his life. But now he knows where Vincent is. And he knows he has to end it. Nora begs him not to go. "You're not strong enough. You could die. If I don't, this land, my people, my workers, they all lose everything." She hands him the silver coin. "Then take back what's yours." Ash rides back to the heart of the county, a hidden ranch in Ember Hollow, where Vincent now holds court like a king. Nora follows secretly. She sees the confrontation from a distance, Ash and Vincent facing each other under the shadow of a burned-out barn. Fear and loyalty. Vincent offers him one last chance. Sign the papers. Disappear for good. Ash throws the coin at his feet. The land's not for sale, cousin. Gunfire erupts. As Ash falters, bleeding again, Nora bursts from the trees, wielding the same tranquilizer rifle she uses for wildlife. One shot. Vincent drops like a stone. The sheriff, who's been quietly watching Barrowfield politics, finally arrives. Called by Nora earlier that day, Vincent is arrested for conspiracy and attempted murder. Weeks later, Ash, now fully revealed as Jeremiah Barrowfield, reclaims his estate. He offers Nora a place in his world, not as a debt, not out of gratitude, but because he wants her there. "I came here to rescue animals," she says, smiling. "I didn't expect to rescue a legacy." "Guess we both saved something," he replies. Ash rebuilds Barrowfield Ranch into a sanctuary, not just for animals, but for people seeking shelter from storms. And Nora? She never returned to her quiet cabin alone again. Because sometimes fate doesn't knock. Sometimes it bleeds on your doorstep. And if you're lucky, you find it in time. As the camera pans over the rolling hills of the Barrowfield estate, a dark figure watches from a ridge. Another heir, another secret.